advanced market structure and how is it different. I went through ICT 2022 mentorship again and again, and there is one episode where he took his time to explain market structure. In this video, I'm going to simplify it as much as possible and give you the key elements that you should focus on. We're going to start by the explanation and then we're going to move on to the charts. The first thing we have to understand is a long-term high and a long-term low. It is the highest swings in our PD array. In our example right here, it is the highest swing high and the highest swing low. Intermediate term high and low, this is the point where ICT focuses so much on, and this is one of the most important things to understand. We're gonna go through this in details. This is the intermediate term high. We have a short term high right here, and we have a short term high right here, to the left and to the right of it. Okay, a short term high is swing high, okay, and here it's a swing high. It's a 3 candles and the highest one makes it a swing, okay? Same for the downside, okay? This is the swing low right here, okay? The intermediate term high is always lower than the long-term high. So by definition, the intermediate term high has a short-term high to the left of it and a short-term high to the right of it. This is the first definition. But what about this intermediate term high? We have short-term high that's above it and we have a short-term high that's below it, okay? This is not what the rule defines. So there's 2 ways in order to understand the intermediate term high. And this is what differentiates this market structure than any other. In our case right here, this intermediate term high, as we have the definition right here, every time we rebalance an imbalance, it becomes an intermediate term high or intermediate term low. Every time we rebalance an imbalance, this is the imbalance. Every time we rebalance the imbalance, it becomes intermediate term high. Same as here, this is an intermediate term low because we rebalanced an imbalance. There is also a short-term low next to this, and there is also a short-term low next to this. Why is it important to identify the intermediate term high, intermediate term low? It's important because we are anticipating that the high next to it will not go above it and will be a short-term high or a short-term low. If it trades above it, then our idea is incorrect and we should wait for market structure to get in sync. These are ICT's specific words, like copy it. The intermediate term high is right here. So we are expecting a short term high. Next to it, it's gonna be lower than this intermediate term high. Well, how can this help us? This means that if it goes above it, our idea is fraud. That means our idea is not correct, which saves us a trade. But if it makes a short term high next to it, it actually confirms our idea, our context that we can go short. And as we can see here, the price comes back. We can be a seller inside of this because now we are anticipating the sells. Okay, because we know that this is our intermediate term high. So we can be a seller here, okay, or we can wait for the market structure shift right here, and then we can be a seller right here. We will see that on the charts right now. But before we go, when we combine this with institutional order flow, it works like a charm. I'm gonna go through institutional order flow on the next video. So if you want to know about that, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and you will get the notification once I make the video. This is our long-term high right here, and this is our long-term low right here, okay? Because these are the highest points starting from this area. From here, we go up. We are rebalancing an imbalance, which makes this an intermediate term high, like we spoke in the explanation before. If this is an intermediate term high and we want to go lower, then we should have next to it, when it rallies up, we need to have a short term high in order to confirm that we're going to go lower. So what happened next? We came back down here and we also rebalanced an imbalance right here, which makes this what? An intermediate term low. Okay, guys, I want you to work with me. I'm gonna ask, and if you can answer it on your own, that would be great for you. So let's do it together. I want to make this as interactive as possible. From here, we go and we take this intermediate term high, which means we're not going to go lower. If our bias is bullish, then this will tell us that our idea is wrong because we went above the intermediate term high. What does this become right now? If it takes out this intermediate term high, what does this become? This becomes a potential intermediate term high because we've got a short-term high right here. This is a swing high, as we can see. And then we're going to wait and see if we're going to get a short-term high next to it. Let's continue step by step. We go lower, and then what did we do here? This is a short-term low, which confirms this intermediate term low. Okay, which means that we're going to go higher than this. And this is what happened. So this is a confirmation for a trade for us. We rallied above the intermediate term high and we rallied above the long-term high right here. Okay, so this is our first example.